everybody. It's Dr. Cindy with the Positively Altered podcast. I am a chiropractic internist and nutritionist, and we discuss things health related, sometimes with a really interesting spin. And today is no different because my next guest was actually in the real estate industry, and she became burned out and realized that during that burnout, she was going through perimenopause. But yet nobody informed her that that's what it was. And she had to learn all by herself how to manage that and has done so very successfully. So sit tight. We're going to take a listen to a couple sponsors, and then we're going to come back with my guests and figure out how you go from real estate, totally burned out, through perimenopause and get through to the other side very well.
Hello, my name is Heather Lord, and I am the COO of Professional Health Products. Cutting corners is an all too common practice in the dietary supplement industry. When my father founded Professional Health Products, he sourced the cleanest, most biologically active ingredients from around the globe. Today, that commitment remains, which is why the finest healthcare practitioners, like Dr. Cindy, have trusted us for more than 40 years. We oversee the entire process in our manufacturing facility, from sourcing and formulation to manufacturing and labeling. Today, we offer over 300 unique products that can be tailored to the nutritional and homeopathic needs of each individual. Most recently, we launched a proprietary genetic test, allowing our practitioners to get even more dialed in to their patients' health. To learn more about Professional Health Products, please talk to your practitioner or visit our website at phpltd.com.
Today, your life is going to be altered. I'm Dr. Cindy.
Welcome to Infinity. We have worked hard to create an electronic claims website that is simple and user-friendly. This is the public side. You can log into your personal web portal here. This is your dashboard. You can personalize it to your liking here. Our main focus has been to allow you to submit and edit claims as easy as possible. You will find our claims editor and claims processing is simple to use and straightforward. Our quick action bar is where you can find your most important information. Most of these icons will take you directly to the claims the number represents. You can easily view if you have any messages in your inbox of any unread alerts by looking for these blue numbers. To view the rest of our training videos to get the most of your Infinity experience, click this icon. We hope you find this web portal simple and easy to use. Thanks for letting us serve you.
I'm Dr. Cindy. Who wouldn't want to join me for the Positively Altered podcast? Welcome back, and thanks for hanging tight after the commercial break because our sponsors are really important to us. You know, we talk about all things health and wellness here on the Positively Altered podcast, and some of you are going to wonder what real estate has to do with health and wellness. Well, we always need a place to live, but even more importantly are the stories behind it. And I want to welcome to the podcast today, Nikko Papadakos. Did I say that right?
You said it perfectly.
See? And I practiced it, you guys. For those of you listening, I even practiced it before and I questioned myself, but it's okay. We got it correct, Nikko. I'm really happy to have you here today. That was also my phone dropping. So I just got done telling everybody before we recorded I'm having a Monday, and clearly the Monday is going to continue even though you're hearing this on a Friday. But welcome to the podcast, Nikko. I'm really thrilled to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and share.
This is so fun. So we mentioned real estate, right? And you've had a very, very successful real estate practice, but I know you shared with me that one of your most successful years was also one of your worst years for other reasons. And I just want to, let's get into that story because everybody loves a train wreck. So
right?
let's hear about yours and figure out how we got you back on the train tracks.
Okay. So I would have been mid-30s. I had teenagers at home. I was very busy. I loved my career. I was actually on our real estate board. I was involved with many committees in our community. I was doing all the things. And I was having that really successful year where everybody is paying attention and you're getting all the pats on the backs and you're like, oh my goodness, like what's happening here? Everybody's paying attention. And it was the worst year of my life. I had physical symptoms of stress. Every day I was angry. I was sad. I was very disappointed in myself in the way that I showed up for my family, because we can hold it together when we're out in public, right? We can put our best face on when we're out with people, out with clients, and we come home, and who gets what's left of us is our family. And I fell apart, and it made me feel guilty and shameful every single day. I apologize to my kids on a very regular basis, which, as a side note, I don't think that's a bad thing, because we're teaching them we're not perfect. But also, I was just so disappointed in who I was. So take from there, it was a few years later, because as most women, we're very good at doing. And when things get hard, we just think we need to try harder. We need to do more. Right? And we're doing it a lot of times for not the right reasons, which might be things like pats on the back. We need that validation from other people because we're not invested in our own wellness. So a couple of years later, it completely led to burnout for me. I was done. I walked into my broker's office and I said, I'm done. I'm tapped out. And I literally let go of every commitment I had, including my career. And it took me years to heal from that. But in hindsight, I was in perimenopause. I didn't know it because I'd never actually heard the word, and I didn't know how to support myself through it.
Yeah, because a lot of women walk in and they think they're crazy, right?
Absolutely.
And listening to your story, I can relate, single mother, 3 kids, career, right? All that good stuff. And that burnout is really so scary. And then we start to think that we're actually nuts.
Yeah, we do. And I remember being angry all the time and thinking, I have everything I've ever wanted. I have a very successful career that I love to this day. I love that career. I'm not a realtor anymore, right? I love that career. I loved my family. There was so many good things in my life, and I wonder why is broken with me that this isn't enough?
I think it's a really important question, and I think a lot of us ask it, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we're looking in the wrong place.
Well, I think we are so focused on, and we are very capable. Don't get me wrong. We are very capable. We are allowed to have a really big, amazing career that we love. We're allowed to be the best mom, the best spouse, the best, whatever it is that we want, we're allowed to be it, but we have to do it in a healthy way, which means it has to be self-care. But, for, again, many of us, I didn't know that. I didn't know I was responsible for my joy. I didn't know I was responsible for my wellness. I didn't know that I had to take care of me in order to build and find success in a healthy way, right? If you would have asked me 15 years ago what joy looked like for me, I would have told you it was taking care of my family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then on the very flip side of that, we're very resentful that I'm doing everything to get right.
I agree. I think there's that interesting dichotomy of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how much of that is really the mantra that we believe we're supposed to have as women versus we really believe it, right? Versus the messaging. And yeah, I think it's an interesting place to get stuck. Was there sort of just this defining moment where you were like, I'm burnt out? Or was it a long period of time that you just kept going, I'm burnt out, but you didn't do any, you never marched into the office to quit the job?
I struggled for a long time, and it could put me in tears in a minute because I know what that felt like for me, and it was really hard. And I struggled for a long time and a lot longer than I needed to because I'm ambitious, because I was worried about what it looked like. Again, like we said, we can all resonate with that feeling broken, like what's wrong with me, but we don't say it. I never said it out loud because what is somebody going to think? Right? So we can be really good at hiding. We can be really good at pushing through and keeping going. And I pushed way too long. But once I hit that wall, I was done. I love real estate to this day, but I couldn't go back because it just felt like such an unhealthy version of me in it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work on the study of words. And one of my big mantras is changing the elevation that we give negative words, right? And that burnout word or the stress word and all of these things. And the one that really resonated when I hear you talk is this word broken, right? Because I will tell you right now, I am broken. I have been broken. I will be broken again. Mm-hmm. And I've learned to embrace that word to allow for change, right? Rather than to be like, oh, something is wrong with me and everybody should look at me negatively versus, okay, if something is broken, what do? We got to pull out the glue and we got to fix it, right? Or you get a nail and you put it back, you hang it on the wall. And it's a word that can facilitate, I think, change to get you to the next place that's better.
Right.
versus being stuck, right?
Yeah.
And I love, I love talking to people now, right, that have been broken, stuck, whatever the word is, and come out on the other side to show that again, it's a facilitator, right? It's not a place to live.
No. And again, something has to change for something to change. Like I could have stayed there, but it just was enough. There was something else for me. It was my family. It was who I was for my family. That was enough for me to go, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do this anymore. Something has to change.
So there's something really important, I think, and that is, you learn to apologize. And I do that too. I've been apologizing to my kids since the moment they came out.
Right.
And I think the sincerity in the apology is really important. Did your family forgive you?
Yes. And I have to say, because I was also somebody, when I was pretending everything was okay, right? I would never talk about things like that. But once I was on a healing journey, once I was broken and healing, because again, like you said, we can use that word to our advantage. They watched me do that. They know why I did that. Right. And I feel like for me, taking them on that journey with me has allowed them to, like, they've seen me when I say to them, I don't care what you do. My kids are 22 and 24. You have to love what you do. Well, they've seen me make that change. Or when I say you have to be intentional with what you put in your body, you have to make time for fitness in your life because that supports your wellness and that's your responsibility. They know that because they see me do it. My son did 2 years of university. It didn't speak to him. I encouraged him to take a gap year. He's doing something completely different that I don't feel like he thought was enough, but I feel like him watching me in my journey gave him permission to change course and not feel like it was a failure,
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? So you lead by example and hope those that love you can follow. And I think that's so valuable, right? Because there is this expectation of what we go through these different phases of our life, and there's this expectation of who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do and what that looks like. Right. And I always like, who made up those rules? I mean, I don't, like where did it come from that those expectations exist if they're not self-imposed? And then how dangerous is that self-imposition of those expectations, right? To your point. I mean, I grew up, it's interesting. We go through this now. I have 3 kids as well, 23, almost 21 and 18. And it's that, when I grew up where I came from, you went to college. There was no debate. There was no conversation. You didn't go into a trade. You didn't go into your family business. Like you went to college and you graduated, right? And to your point, I have one now who's, we joke he's on his 8th or 9th major and now he's in the firefighting academy and he's not going to earn a 4-year degree. And it's so like, just because I did, right, doesn't mean it's the right path. And what a cool gift to give your kids to be able to find their path to when they feel broken to facilitate change.
Right. So I think, the forgiveness is important, but I think there's so much more than that. Like you said, it's a teaching tool because actions speak so much louder than words. Like if we say to our kids, you can be anything you want as long as you're happy, but they watch us be miserable in our life and never make change. I don't know.
They emulate, right?
Yeah, they do.
I think we either emulate what our parents do or we become the antithesis. And the antithesis is hard if you don't have those teaching moments, right?
Yes.
So for those of us walking through miserable, sometimes we produce miserable kids.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted more.
It's so great. Okay, let's go into this perimenopause thing because I think I'm laughing because, I teach a lot about sexual health and women's hormones, even from the stage. Good. And it's interesting when we just define what that word means. How many women are never taught, never educated? To your point, you never even heard of it. Like
never heard the word.
Again, we might just all get lumped into this crazy category of, right. Things that we go through. How did you discover that was part of your challenge? And what have you done with that information then moving forward?
So again, I said in that really challenging season of life for me where I was, finding all the success and feeling miserable. I went to many medical appointments because I was having physical symptoms of stress, which obviously at the time I didn't know that's what it was. Nothing was wrong with me. Nobody thought to test my hormones or like even put that on my radar that this could be a biological transition, not that you're crazy or right. Like there was just nothing given to me. So I went on a journey to heal myself. So I made change. I did a lot of research. I got really curious. And I think I was probably almost menopausal before I actually learned that, the 10 previous years were perimenopause when I was struggling.
Wow. And 10 years is a long time to go through that.
Yeah. And it can be anywhere from 10 to 12 years for women,
Yes.
and start in our mid 30s. When I have people reaching out to me, I'm 48 right now.
Okay.
I have people reaching out to me and they're like, I'm 48 years old. I'm struggling with, some issues that I think is perimenopause. I went to my doctor. My doctor said, it's too early for you. I don't know what, you're fine. I'm like, no, 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 that's exactly where you are. But like the information we think it's out there, maybe more, I don't know, but it's not. And like you said, a lot of women don't understand.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, any doctors listening, stop telling women they're fine when they come in to
Yes.
see you. If they were fine, they wouldn't have made the appointment.
Right. But the
Right?
scary thing is too, again, if I had have said out loud, I don't feel like me, I feel broken, I'm sad all the time, the only thing that I know to be true is I would have been put on an antidepressant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying there isn't a place for those, because there absolutely is, but that wouldn't have hit the root cause, which was my hormone health.
Correct. So walk me back. Were you the teenager that had horrible periods, or were you the teenager that, everything was perfect?
Yeah, no, I had to stay, like I would end up kind of staying home once or twice a month, but I never, even as I never knew anything about my period. I had 2 children. Like I knew nothing about my health, like my female cycle, nothing.
Yeah. There's actual studies out there that show that a majority of women can't even identify their body parts correctly.
And again, I'm so not even shocked by that. But that's the beauty of, again, learning and growing as we do, hopefully as women. Even if we didn't know before, we can still learn now. And I'm educating my daughter.
Love it. Right. Yeah. When I grew up, so I had horrible cramps as a teenager. I believe they were regular periods. I can't remember yesterday. So, part of menopause, right? So I can't remember all those years ago. But what I do remember is I would have to miss a day of school.
Yeah.
I would curl up in a ball in the fetal position in my bed. My mother would, bring me, you're gonna love this. Maybe now I would have been turned into DCFS with my mother, but she would hand me a glass of blackberry brandy. That was my right to numb the there's probably, my mother's no longer with me, so we can't address those issues currently, but I'm sure there was probably something deeper rooted going on there I was unaware of as a teenager, because she was attempting to make me an alcoholic, which didn't work, by the way, but
that's good.
but it was brandy instead of popping Tylenol or Aleve. And we were told it was normal, right? And one of the things I know when I educate patients all the time is the only thing normal about your period is it comes every 28 days. You wake up, you go to the bathroom, you're bleeding. Oh, it's on the toilet paper. It must be here. No mood swings, headaches, breast tenderness, cramping, back pain, none of that, right? It's not normal. So now when you fast forward into your 30s, 40s, 50s, wherever you are, and I actually have one patient who's 63 who still gets a period, and yes, like, wow. For those of you that aren't watching and just listening, the eyeballs were popping out, right? Like 63, yes. Usually at 50, we're going, when is this going to happen?
Right.
But really, when we have a really healthy period cycle when we're younger, we go through the transition much better, right? So we're not educated young. We're certainly not educated peri. And now we're in menopause sitting with all our friends having hot flashes, comparing who's worse.
Right.
Right. Okay. So you're in this transition that you had to learn. Were there any, like, I hate to use the word magic because it's not magic, but like, what were the tricks that worked for you to help you get out of the sadness and the rut that you were in, knowing that hormonally there was challenges?
For me, it was fitness.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my step one. Because again, I feel like it was like luck, or like somebody, like, I don't know. I don't know where it came to me, but I was like, I just started working out.
Okay.
And it was, again, it was magic in that it was something I was doing for me. It was something I was building for myself every day. It's a little like love we can show ourselves every day. And I know, a lot of people don't like to work out. And I did not grow up an athlete. I began lifting weights when I think I was 35 years old. Like,
how intimidating was that for you? Like, you walk into a gym and you've never done this before.
I did it at home.
Oh, you did?
I did it at home.
Okay.
Yeah. Which again, I had to move my coffee table every morning. And I was actually worried about cars driving by, judging me. That's how like insecure and like not confident I felt. But again, we have to find a way to be scared and do it anyway.
Nikko, how many neighbors do you have that are peering in the window that you were
right?
nice about that? I mean,
probably
I'm in your neighborhood now.
Probably none. But for me, it was, I think, like healthy or unhealthy habits we can have in our life, they snowball. So, it started with fitness, it became nutrition. And again, like I said, I got really curious and I started reading a lot and listening to a lot and just getting curious and learning. So for any woman, we want the magic fix. There isn't one. And we talk hormones, like taking bioidenticals, whatever. They're not a magic fix.
Right.
But
Right.
you need to feel empowered in your journey. And the way that you do that is focusing on your nutrition, is focusing on your fitness, prioritizing your sleep, managing your stress, which is so much easier said than done. Right. And then the few right supplements, getting a healthcare practitioner team of your choosing, which could be things like pelvic floor health and naturopath, your GP or whoever is on your team that you choose, putting people together that are in your corner and having conversations.
What are some of your favorite nutritional shifts that you made from, high profile real estate, probably picking things quickly, right? Because you've got appointments all day, to now really focus. What are some of those key things that like you won't waver from?
I focus on plants. So I am very plant forward in my nutrition. But what I think is really important is we need to simplify it. We need to get away from, I do this, or I'm afraid of this. Like people are afraid of potatoes. Eat a potato, right? If it's a whole food, eat it, right? Prioritize it. And I know we can get caught up in things like high protein, high fiber. And if you're going to get caught up in anything, do get caught up in those two, but just focus on eating whole foods.
Who's afraid of the potato, Nikko? Are people really afraid of
I
it?
have friends, they're like, I couldn't eat it. It'll just make me gain 5 pounds. And I'm like, no. And in perimenopause and menopause, we think we can't lose weight. We tell ourselves lots of stories. It's probably because we're trying to do what we did when we were in our early 20s. It doesn't work anymore. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, and if you think, you can't have carbs, you need them. Your body needs them. Just pick the whole food kinds.
Right. Yeah, no, it's very interesting. Now, what do you love about the exercise? Or are you still one of these like, okay, I don't love it, but I do it because I need it?
I am somebody who loves it most days. I do not love working out every day, but I love how I feel when I'm done.
Okay.
It's a sense of accomplishment that I give myself every day.
Okay.
Right. And that's changed in the years that I've been doing it. It could be a walk outside. Like that just feels amazing. Again, if you want to change your mood, move your body. Okay. And if you can get outside in nature, like it does wonders for like our whole system, literally down to a physical level, like a cellular level. Get out and move your body. But yeah, it's something I crave in the morning. I broke my foot 7 weeks ago. So I'm in the healing of that and not being able to work out. The first thing that entered my mind was I'm going to lose all my muscle, which is kind of a sad little thought, but I love that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, there's still upper body workouts you can do.
I still did things. I was in my gym, in my air cast. It happened.
See, everybody likes the excuse, but we've got to overcome that, right?
Yeah.
Where do you see the parallels in your life, like from real estate? How did even though you're not doing it anymore, what helped you in that high-paced environment that you've now been able to carry over to use, for good?
Oh, that's a good one.
Thanks. I worked on that all day before we met.
Did you? Well, I'm glad that I recognized.
No, it was just...
I think because in real estate, you can really sweat the small stuff, right? And I know for me, I think it also highlighted for me, I'm an emotional sponge. And some people are just like that way. Like I really feel like what's around me. And I know that might sound like a little woohoo, but if people are really stressed around me, I grab onto that and I feel it literally in my bones as well. So it helped me, like what I brought to that, I could help people navigate that. But I learned to do that for myself because I wasn't so good at that piece, right? Like I could help them navigate and not stress about things, but I did it. I stressed for them.
So right? That's easy, right? It's, I love that. Well, just quit being stressed out, okay. Like if I knew
who would that ever work for?
Nobody ever, right? On the face of the planet. So like, okay, I'm your client and I'm totally stressed out. Give me, because everybody, listen, I'm sure everybody listening can probably go, oh, I can relate. Right. What's one like tool to try to see if it works for us that worked for you to, to pull yourself out of that kind of grabbing on to all the stress?
It's kind of how I raised my kids even and how I worked in real estate. Like I'm an over communicator. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do. So if you're stressed about that, I'm going to tell you what the steps are that we take before we need to stress. And I find myself now, because I can get very overwhelmed very quickly. This goes back to perimenopause and menopause too. Our capacity for stress is reduced because our brain is restructuring because it's trying to survive with the less sex hormones. So we need to learn how to do that. So even now, if I feel like my to-do list is long or I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'll sit and even out loud, what is the one next thing I need to do right now? And just what is the one next thing I need to do? And if you are looking for something, say you're overwhelmed, you're waiting for an answer for something, it's a deal, whatever you're working, your kid is driving you mad, do something. And when I say that one next thing, maybe it's put the laundry away, maybe it's put the dishes away, accomplish a task. Because again, it's going to give us that sense of accomplishment. Okay, I can do the next thing, right? It's just always about building ourselves up, I think. And focusing on the things that are in our control.
I think that's key, right? Because most things are not.
Most things are not, right? And like you say, like, what is worry? It's something to do.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And how do we move past things? How do we be broken and heal? We have to take action.
So do you think when I hear you say, do that one next thing, do you think it relates back to most of us don't live? I'm just making up character names as we go along here. And you go, most of us don't live in that present moment, right? We're so worried about out here that, tomorrow and next week and next month and next year. And not that there still isn't some value, right? I mean, I don't know that you can't pay attention, listen, we're raising families and building careers, and there's definitely goal setting, right, for outside of this moment. But I wonder if we refocus to present time more often than not, if we would be able to take that next task, that next thing.
I think it would. And when you say that, I'm like, okay, so when I was a realtor and I was out at night, and sometimes my daughter would text me and say, are you going to be home for bedtime? Like, I want you home for bedtime. And I would have guilt about that because I'm out working and I feel like I should be at home. But when I was at home and we're at the dinner table, I have my phone. In case, like this true story, my kids, I would say to them, they'd be like, Mom, get off your phone. Because I would probably tell them to get off their device. And I'd be like, I'm making money. I need to be on here. No, I didn't. I needed to create healthy boundaries, right? But I didn't have them. So when I'm at the dinner table with my family, I'm not present. And when we're not present there, and then we go to work and we're not quite present there because we have guilt that we're not there. If we were just where our feet are, which again is something I'm constantly telling myself, be where your feet are.
I love that.
Right? Then we can be in that moment and we can go to work and we can not have guilt about it. Like, no, sweets, I'm not going to be home tonight. Just like I told you, I'm out working. And we can feel good about that because when we're at home, we're present and we're at home. Right. But again, it goes back to healthy boundaries are a must. But if we're not in a place where we feel confident and bold enough to create them and maintain them because we're investing in our health and wellness, they don't stick.
It's so true. I'm guilty of that all the time. I mean, I'm involved in a task and I'm doing another task and then I'm not present. And then I pretend like I'm paying attention, which isn't actually true because multitasking is not a real thing. It's just a question of how fast your brain can switch. Right. And it's interesting. I catch myself doing that actually more often than I should. Well, I shouldn't do it at all. Right. There should be no shoulds. And I think we do. I think we're so busy. Right. And I don't want to lessen the value of what men bring to the table. I think they're so busy too, right? I think it's a little bit different sometimes for them than it is for us. Yes. And I think men really go through hormonal changes as well. But I think there's something really important that I'd love for you to comment on, and that is the lack of communication, right? Like, you didn't feel you got the education. I know I didn't from my parents either. Again, it was just a glass of booze and go to bed. Where do you think the challenges are for us as women now in today's real world to make sure we open that door of communication, that like we can sit and have a conversation about sexual health and abnormal periods and sweating when we're just sitting here talking to each other? That I think in today's society is so little taboo.
It is a little taboo. And I think we just need to be afraid not to go first. Right? Like, if we sit at a table with our girlfriends and I'm like, just give me a minute, I'm having a hot flash. Or like, does anybody else feel like they smell like, dirty cheese sometimes? Like, where did that come from? As somebody who never sweat or never stunk before, what is happening? You're not going to be alone, but we just have to be afraid to not go first. But I think, and I'm speaking from my experience, I didn't have My mom didn't talk to me about my period. So nobody really talked to me about it. It was an open discussion for everything. So I held a little shame around that, probably a lot, if I'm being truthful. So, right, like it wasn't something I felt comfortable talking about. Well, now I just feel like it might be shameful, but if it's not, it's a natural body. Like this is a natural something we all go through. So if we're just not afraid to go first and talk about it, somebody else is going to be like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Right? It starts the conversation and having it with our girls. Right? Like I have done it way different. I talk to her and I'm sure she's like, can you stop talking about my period? I don't want to talk about it with you. But like, I'd rather be the one to bring it up to her because we can't wait for them to bring it up to me or to us because that's
right. I know. I remember, I have one daughter and I remember talking about periods and I remember teaching her how to put a tampon in and we talked about sex and she'll probably kill me for this. But I mean, she talked to me the first time she actually had intercourse and I was so like, this is awesome. I mean, I don't know how many parents get to have that experience with their daughter. I mean, I never, I mean, my parents to this day still know I had sex because I have 3 kids, but I don't, like you don't come back and be like,
yes.
Although I do have to admit, I was just at a party yesterday and I told people the reason we were late is because I was having sex before we came, and that's why I was a few minutes late. I did it. Okay, so Nikko, I got a great idea. You ready? And Julie's listening behind the scenes, our producer of this podcast, but I have a great idea. When we go to air, I think that we should start a contest on social media where the next meeting we attend, where there's a group of people, one of us, and I would absolutely, and Julie behind the scenes will absolutely vouch that I would do this. I think one of us should break out in the middle of the meeting and go, does anybody smell like bad cheese? I woke up smelling like bad, and just see what kind of response we could get. And I think we should have a contest where we put it on social media where people do it and we see what kind of doors that opens up and what happens.
It's going to open the conversations and it will never be bad.
I'm totally not I am going to steal that statement, that question. Yeah. Because I've never thought of myself as smelling like nasty, dirty cheese, but I'm going to just throw it out there whether I have or I haven't.
It's a symptom. I'm going to tell you, it's a symptom. There's like 70 symptoms, and that happens to be one of them. And one of my favorite tables, and it will forever be etched in my mind. Sitting at a table, a group of women, and somebody brought that up, and I was like, thank you.
I love that. It's a good thing I'm dairy free, Nikko, because I'm never going to look at cheese the same ever.
So am I. So we're safe.
Ever. Yeah, totally safe. So if you smell like it, we're not bringing it to the meal. So it's good. Right. It's good. Oh my gosh. I just love this. That has been great. Okay. We've got a game plan. We've got a contest. We're going to figure out how to leverage that. Nikko, we've got to take a quick commercial break because I have sponsors that I really care about and I want everybody to listen. Will you hang tight? We're going to have some fun with some rapid fire questions when we get back.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. No cheese on this break. Go hydrate. We'll be right back with Nikko. This is your weekly dose of Dr. Cindy, the Positively Altered podcast. Stop, hit that follow button now and spread the love with Positively Altered. And we're back. I'm Dr. Cindy with my guest, Nikki Papadakos, and we just got done talking about smelly cheese. So great segue for what's coming next, and that is a rapid fire question. Whatever is top of mind, Nikki, just answer the question. We'll see where it goes. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's see what happens. What is one article of clothing you wish you never ever had to wear again?
Bra.
Okay.
See, I think I had that loaded.
I was going to say, like, I've got to rework that question because I think every female I have on the podcast is going to give that answer. And men are going to give me, well, if men say bra, then we've got I have a follow-up question if they say bra. So we'll see if that comes up. It's a new one for me. All right. If you had to pick one place to live that was 100 miles away from where you currently live, where would you go?
Well, I would have to know where 100 miles is, but I would go south. I would just go south. And hopefully it would take me to palm trees.
Okay. Well, we can send you a little palm tree and a plant if that's all you need to, brighten the day. All right. If you could be any superhero or cartoon character, who would you be?
Okay, you said first comes to mind. I'm like a Care Bear. It's not even a superhero.
It's a cartoon character. I think they're cartoon characters, sort of.
Yeah, they are cartoon, but like I want to help women feel strong.
Are you the pink one or the blue one or the yellow one? What color Care Bear are you?
I do get a lot of hugs, but I love pink. So
all right, so the pink Care Bear.
Yeah,
I like that. That works. What would you consider to be the best invention ever?
Oh goodness, maybe a plane. It gets us further faster.
Okay.
I don't know. I just think my daughter's far away. It's only a 2-hour plane ride, so I guess I'm thankful for the plane.
Okay, well, no, I think that's perfect. All right, if you could only wear gym shoes, dress shoes, or flip-flops for the rest of your life, what do you pick?
No, flip-flops. I was going to say gym shoes because I work out, but I love to work out in bare feet, so I'd be fine.
Okay, so flip-flops it is. I love how you just quickly change. See, that's a sign of menopause, right?
I don't care what you think. I said one, but I'm switching.
And then I went a totally different direction. Yeah. And it is our privilege to do that. Absolutely. That's right. Oh my gosh, this is great. And lastly, Nikko, what was your favorite thing about doing the podcast today?
Having conversation with somebody who gets it and who's trying to make impact in this space, in this world. I love that. That's definitely my goal.
And I love it too, which is why everybody listening needs to share this podcast with all of your friends and even the people you don't like that, are driving you nuts because you're perimenopausal. And we're going to have a lot of those in that stage. All right. How does everybody follow you, find you, get to work with you, share with some access?
I'm on social like Instagram and Facebook, just my name, Nikko Papadakos, or my website, nikkopapadakos.com. Yeah.
Love it. All right. Nikko, it has been an absolute pleasure. I will tell you my favorite thing is I learned a new symptom for menopause, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I honestly don't think I have that on my list on my medical forms, but I am contemplating adding it. And I just love that we were able to share a laugh about it, because if things are hard, laughter can get us through pretty much anything. So thank you so much for being a guest today. If you want to learn more about what I am up to, please check me out at drscindyspeaks.com or shoot us an email at hello@drscindyspeaks. You can pick up the book Positively Altered, Finding Happiness at the Bottom of a Chemo Bag anywhere books are sold, and certainly on Amazon. And if you would love to have me as a keynote speaker, please check out the website, because I love to stand on stage and talk about smelling like cheese or whatever suits your needs. Anyway, Nikko, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being a part of the Positively Altered podcast. I hope everybody today was left positively altered.